Feast your eyes on that, ladies and gents. Do any of these things ring a bell? Bring you back some horrible memories, or maybe good ones? Here, today I bring you the knife Iceberg. If you've never seen an iceberg style video before, as you go deeper into the iceberg, the contents become more and more obscure. Full disclosure, I made the iceberg myself many months back. As I made it, I seem to have strayed from my initial intention of talking about more and more obscure brands, and rather gone down the route of more and more obscure dramas in the knife world. Either way, it turned out real funny, so I'm sharing it with you. I will admit though, since it's been so long since I made this, I have no clue what some of these things are about. I do have some vague memories, but they're not great. I remember talking to people in Discord about it and chuckling about the long gun dramas, but seems my mind has forgotten some already. Regardless, I will try and cover everything that I can remember, and also try and put in sources if I can in the description below, so you can have a read up if you do want to. If at some point I do happen to offend you because I've unearthed some drama about your favourite maker, or you don't like my opinion on something that's on here, then leave me a nice angry comment. That'll give my video more attention. Thanks. If I do happen to get something wrong and someone points it out to me though, hopefully in a nice manner, then I will be pinning it on as the top comment. I mean, I am sure I will get some things wrong. Right now, with that out of the way, strap in. This is gonna be a bloody long ride, eh? Righto. So we've got Tier 1, Spyderco, BM, ZT, etc. Obviously, this is just in reference to your usual knife production companies. You know, the entry point for most people who wants to get past Victorinox or the gas station knives. Of course, I'm including all the other usual suspects as well, like CRKT, SOG, Spyderco. Tier 2. Alright. Kai, or KAI, is the Japanese parent company to Kurisho, Zero Tolerance, and Shun knives. Common knowledge, but I didn't think the new people would know. That or a reference to my friend Kai, and the fact that it actually just means food in Maori. Horse penis is in reference to the fact that the common joke being Grimsmo Norseman's blade looks like the tip of a horse's penis. Whether you agree with it or not, you can decide for yourself. This is far from me knocking Grimsmo knives, but just a blade shape really. Paying $40 for D2 is in reference to how D2 is commonly used as high-end steels in Chinese knockoffs or just Chinese knives in general. Or that used to be the case when they started making their way onto the market. This is also an observation on how cheaper budget knives can use D2, when as you'll see there are much more expensive knives that also use D2. This sort of is in a triangle of D2. Gun manufacturer knife brands is talking about the fact that how most knives that are branded or licensed by gun manufacturers are absolute trash, or equivalent to gas station knives at best sometimes. I believe that Heckler & Koch might be the only company who's in cahoots with a good knife production company out there. Well, depending on your definition of a good company, since people can be rather critical of Benchmade. Bottlegate is a reference to the knife pivot lube and gunny lube bottle drama. If you care to learn more about it, feel free to just visit their respective social media pages, but a simplified version is that someone got really upset that someone else used the same bottle design as them, despite it being available for purchase in bulk from different vendors. Personally, I just use Nano Oil Master Race. Tier 3. Pacific Knife Company is Benchmade's old name. Benchmade started as the Ballison USA in the 70s and then changed to Pacific Cutlery in the 80s. than to Benchmade. They used to make hand-ground knives and custom blades designed by Jody Sampson, as well as being the OEM for Emerson's early works. Catgirl Krista is in reference to how some people are infatuated, or are quote-unquote simps, over Krista from Koenig Knives. I will not put up the Photoshop picture of Catgirl Krista because I pretend to be a decent human being during the day. Will Moon is a custom maker from Boomer Blade Forums. His knives, I've been told, are underwhelming and poorly built at best times. And he seems to have given many people the runaround as well. If you want to learn more, just Google Blade from Will Moon drama/controversy. There's a lot on this guy. Bradley Atlas is a misspelling. It should be Bradley Elias. The knife came out early in the sort of high-end production knife era, early 2000s, because it locked a titanium frame lock and an S35VN blade. People used to call it a rip-off of the Sebenza, which had the market cornered at that time in the 2 titanium slabs and a high-end steel knife market. A bit funny if you look at it now with how oversaturated our current knife market is with titanium frame locks, with everything in between S35 and M390. Benchmade Gun Destruction is about how in the early 2019, the Oregon City Police Department posted a post saying that Benchmade helped them destroy guns, which was true. And oh boy, was there a huge outrage from the gun nuts and the Second Amendment people. These people in particular were real mad and swore off Benchmade. Clearly, this really hurt Benchmade, since they're out of business now. Oh, wait, shit. 30-something million in the last year revenue? Yeah, right. BMCS $sign is a reference to the fact that Benchmade jacked up their knife parts replacement price. You used to be able to get a free reblade out of them, depending on how nice they felt at the time, I guess. FU42 is a knife that rebranded and was resold. It is a Chinese clone of the Benchmade 42. There was a huge drama regarding this, obviously. The owner was a bit of a douche at times, and the Blade Forums Bali guys did not like him. I've linked a Cutlery Lovers video on the whole shebang from back when, and you can have a good watch of that if you want to learn more. Pocket Trash is obviously for all those poker chips, fidget toys, and other junk that makers make for too much money. Just junk to put in with your other EDC items, I guess. My favorite of these is the paperweights and or brass knuckles people make that won't work at all, and all it will do is guarantee that you break your finger bones if you try and use them. Tier 4. The Rambo knife is probably one of the most expensive knives ever resold. Real stonks on that one. More properly known as the Rambo Mission No. 12, the knife was used in the movie Rambo First Blood Part 2. It was listed on Arizona Custom Knives for a while before it was sold for $20,000. I'll put the listing in the description below, so take a look. There's certification papers and history papers and everything to go with it. It's pretty cool, actually. Quartermaster is a knife company with some interesting designs. They went out of business, but I would guess that being accused of stealing designs many times wouldn't have helped in that. Oh, and the fact that they were telling people that their knives were made in America, but in reality, they were made in Chinaland and shipped over. Fair & Forge Knife Works sent out knives that were advertised as S35VN. When someone called them out on their blade rusting, which doesn't really happen too much with S35VN after cutting steak, Fair & Forge, they basically told them they don't care and their involvement ends at the design, and that's it. Then tried some damage control, and even so, people just weren't having it. I've linked some original posts from Reddit down below when it all went down. Alright, Strider, Mick Strider, or Mickey Berger of Strider Knives. There's a lot of information to support that Strider has lied about his service in the military. There is an amazing thread on Blade forums from way back in 2007 that details a lot of different aspects of this. This deserves a whole damn video of its own, if anything. If I've delved into everything here, it will be another 45 minutes. I will just say that given how his marketing shtick has been about his service, I think it's pretty funny. Emerson. Right, Emerson has historically made a few posts on his website under the Way I See It title. That's rather Islamophobic, especially in the July 2010 one, undercutting some of the Islamic servicemen and armed forces members out there. Some of these posts are long gone, but some are actually still there that you can find. r/Knife Club invasion of r/Knives was when r/Knife Club was first established. It was a splinter group from r/Knives who ran because back then there were abusive mods on r/Knives. Then at some point everyone posted a picture of K-Bar combat knife on our knives as a final hurrah, like they just spammed the crap out of it. It's pretty funny. The 0777/Mafion is a reference to Microtech and how they got all bitchy because they thought Kai copied their design by producing the 0777. Then they went after a blogger from Everyday Commentary for defamatory actions for what he wrote about Kai and Microtech. And then the judge threw the whole damn case out. On that note, I'm pretty sure the Hera thing is related to Microtech. I cannot for the life of me quite remember it though, so I'm just gonna leave that one be. I don't want to touch on things that I don't have any evidence of, when things happened at the time. Alright, tier 5 already. Some people pay $500+ dues for some reason for D2. I understand that steel choice alone isn't what people are paying for, but still, for D2 that's rather steep. The Gnome is a knife that Anton Milishev designed and teased on social media, or at least I believe was teased. Before he was able to actually bring it onto the market though, a Chinese clone company copied the design and brought it onto the market before Anton could have. So he dropped the knife design entirely as a result. Mike Stewart is the owner of Bark River Knives, and there used to be tons of complaints about his customer service, quality control, and possible immoral business practices. One of these being the post from 2008 on Blade forums titled "Bark River has taken $16,000 of my money." On the other hand, some people seem to have had great interactions with the man, so decide on things after you see both sides of the story. Apostle P did a great job covering this, at least I think, but I'm gonna link the video anyway. Chris Reeves of Chris Reeves Knives got divorced and his wife took his namesake company. Much more to that. Though this did stir up some drama at the time, it was probably unnecessary, given how company still chugs on just fine without the men. CRK does pretty well. When the Shamwarining happened, the website for the drop crashed for hours. Such hype. And then the exact same thing happened with the second drop. Way to learn. Titty Patina Knives is a Instagrammer and a knife modder who specializes in, how do you say? I mean, the name is right there, guys, right? She forces patina on knives by putting it in her bra and people pay for it. Anyone want to pay for a swamp crotch patina on a hot summer day? That may pay for my beer. On the same note, Chelsea Miller is a knife maker whose whole shtick is that she is a woman. She's a trendy hipster from NYC, artisanal horses, family fun, Vermont, cute boobs kind of knife maker. Best thing is, her knives are pretty unilaterally hated by most chefs. She makes chef knives because of his lack of heat treatment, bad profiling, and her not removing the rasp part of the rasp that she makes it out of. I always want a nice place for bacterial growth on all my kitchen knives, don't you? However, she still seems to be active and still seems to be doing well. Clearly, I need to work on my marketing a little bit more. Medford is a interesting character. He's made some interesting videos in the past. Just a strongly opinionated individual who lets others know what he thinks. You can make a judgment on him yourself. Go visit his YouTube channel. I'll leave it at that. Plus D2 and 2 Thai chunks for that price. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. Jim Skelton was a knife collector and a reviewer on YouTube who turned into a knife maker. His general attitude and design seems to turn a lot of people off, and the way he was accepted into the Knife Maker's Guild. Stanchion is the guy behind Journey Tool Co. He used to go into r/knife swap and haggle people to buy their knives for bro prices, using excuses like he was buying them for his nephew. He would then flip them on eBay using an alt for a profit. After he got caught, he made alts to avoid bans and continued his practice. Shout out to the mods on r/knife swap for catching on to that kind of shitty practice. Cheers, guys. Tier 6. Most of you guys probably already know about the Ontario Rat and Rat 2 if you're watching a video like this for some reason. One of the best budget knives in my opinion. The designer Rendell originally licensed Ontario to produce these knives, and when the license ran out he split off and formed his own knife company, ESCE. Some people to argue about who makes better knives, who has better heat treat and so on, especially since their designs are similar, to say the least. Knife simps are a weird creature. You can find them on Facebook a lot of the times. Find them on groups for custom knife makers showing off tattoos of their knives or naming their kits after the maker to see if it gives them a better chance of winning lotteries or whatever. I have no idea how someone like this was able to have a kid in the first place though. Chris Reeves' fisticuffs is a rumor that he got into physical altercation at one of the knife shows. I'm going to leave it at that since for some reason I can't seem to be able to find any posts discussing this still. Supposedly, Sicey Dicey, who is a YouTuber, hasn't been sending knives to people who's paid for them, not sending out knives won in a giveaway, and selling knives given to him for use as a giveaway. I can't for the life of me remember what the hell NCC Spy is, so pass. Leave it in the comments if you know. Heater makes very Medford knives, but more differenter. And also Heater Nation.
Okay. Go. Heard somebody talking some shit about $1,000 fucking knives. Alright, well we got 3. We got 3 right here. Hey, come on now. Take yours. Take yours and fucking stick it in the, I mean what, your $1,000 knife stay in the safe? Your $2,000 knife stay in a safe? Don't yap at a heater fucking guy. Don't yap at Heater Nation. Don't ever, ever talk to Heater Nation. We use ours. Look. You whip yours out to take pictures. You bars, stick it in something. Heater Nation. Look. Anybody hurt something? Hurt something? Todd? Somebody hurt something? Huh? Who else takes thousands?
Simply put, Robert Young Payton, RYP, designs, after disagreeing with someone, posted the name and work contact info of that person and his wife's work and their contact number at the work, which led to his fans harassing this poor woman. Then he claimed he did nothing wrong. Bit of a dick move. Browse of Browse Knives was accused of stealing designs a couple times, but I think the best part is when he implies ZT copied his jimping by pointing out the jimping on the backspacer of a ZTO 454. No one else in the world could have thought of that jimping pattern, I'm sure. Not to mention, he was referring to his fixed blade jimping, comparing it to a backspacer of a pocket knife. Tier 7. Joe Bravo. Learn to disclose the mods that's been done to your knife before you sell them, and apologize properly and make up for the wrongdoings when that happens. Bad call, man. Supposedly there was a handshake deal between Lion Steel and Jeff Randall to produce a collaborative folder at SHOT Show 2010, but Lion Steel broke it to produce the Spyderco Lion Spy. Keyword there being supposedly. Long Island Knife Guy. This gentleman, other than sounding like a horrible drink, is famous for buying knives cheap and raffling them at a very profitable prices. Just go and buy the knife outright, guys. No one but he wins on these kind of shit. His Instagram seems to be gone now. I would have liked to put it on here, but it's not there anymore. Supposedly, it's Jim Bowie's Bowie knife from Alamo, someone found in an antique store in the 70s. Takes 2 years to deliver. Survived knives. 2 years? That's even worse than me, and I make like one knife a year. BDEDC. Pretty sure it's a cult. And also the tailor, the owner, seems to be surrounded in some interesting talks uptown. SPARDGYSB is a Benchmade dealer code that was leaked on Knife Club Discord. Everyone tried to cash it in for like 80% off anthems at the time or something. It was really glorious. I really wish it happened, but no, they all just got a refund and that was it. Someone spent $1,100 on a 940 and only the liner is left standing from Benchmade. Reblade, custom hardware, new handles, new pocket clip, you name it. It's got everything. Frank Fisher. He's down here for a reason, I can't remember it. Moving on. Right, tier 8. Okay. Tim Britton is a knife maker, and at the beginning of Kaiser, like when Kaiser was first starting to become a thing, he contacted Kaiser to make some knives, except he didn't pay them, so they pulled the knives and put their own brand on it and brought it to one of the big shows, which they could have because he never paid for the loyalty on the knives, nor for the design. And then he accused them of stealing his design, and people in the community were outraged given the fact that this was like the beginning of the name brand Chinese manufacturing. Everyone was skeptical because the only thing that they've seen coming out of China till then was clones or really cheap crap. However, users on Blade forums actually found shipping manifests that proved that Britain actually brought knives over from China as a Kaiser and was selling them as his own customs. Following soon after, there was talks of him lying about steel in his early customs as well. Strider actually got Medford to build the AR-75 Cal .75. Strider fanboys were mad. The part 3 of the D2 triangle. Don't have much to add here, but how the hell are you justifying spending $1,500 on D2? Really? Come on. At least get like K380 or K390. Everything from Mole Ninja stuff to interesting OTFs this guy makes, but apparently a real enigma and a pain in the butt to do any customer service stuff with. And also he apparently borrows some designs from other people without the other person knowing about it, occasionally, once in a while. Mafione has a long history of drama from his divorce to suing his son. I won't get further into it, but there is plenty of discussion that you can find online, especially Blade forums. The Changbenza is probably the oldest controversy in here. The original posts about it go back to the year 2000, one of the earliest forms of clones in the knife world. There is no pictures of it for some reason. I cannot find anything more than this, but there was some discussion back then, and this is obviously a big deal because people were actually passing them off as Sabenzas at the time. Anyway, if you actually watched this far, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. If you thought I missed anything, please let me know down in the comments below. And if you have any more details about any more of this stuff, feel free to add, but please don't add stuff without being able to back it up with a link or a post from whenever it happened. That's just slander. That's not adding to discussion. Alright? Thanks for watching. Cheers.